everyone, this great song off of Use Your Illusion 1, Dust and Bones. Just a classic Izzy Stradlin rhythm exercise. He just lays in that groove and really shuffles along. It's really fun to play. Of course, you got Slash jamming all over. So I've got all the guitar parts figured out for you. I think there's even more in the overdubs, but I'm going to go over the two main parts so you can play this. The first thing you need to know, tune down a half step. As with all Guns N' Roses, you're going to be down to an E flat, A flat, and so forth. I'll have my notes. You can download them. They'll be available right below the video. Click on that and download them if you want to follow along that way and have them to keep. So the song starts out with a real nice E minor full chord strum. And you'll kind of hear the G string ring back because they've got it loud, but the guitar's not very distorted. It's got some dirt on it, but not a whole lot. So we got our E minor. Then he goes into an A. We'll just pick the 5th, 4th, and 3rd string. Then he references a G. He's just going to pick the 6th string at the 3rd fret, the 5th string at the 2nd fret, and the 4th string open. Then he moves to an F sharp. This would be F sharp over D. Okay, but he's just hitting the 6th, 5th, and 4th string. So we'll be on the 2nd fret of the 6th string with the 5th and 4th open. Then they start in. All right, so what we have so far is our E minor, A, then we kick it in. All right, now, Izzy Stradlin, like I said, this is played, I don't want to say loose, it's just got a real nice shuffle feel to it. So it's really 3 power chords on E. And then he hits a G. Alright, so we're going to just reference that with the 4th and 3rd string. Back to an E, but not hitting the 6th string. This will be on the 5th and 4th string. Back to open on that 5th and 4th. And then back to 2. That 2 really is more of the next E. Alright, that's really consistent throughout the song. The only time he changes that slightly is when he's going into the a full A chord, a full G chord, just you can do the power chord, and then the F sharp over D. Okay, if you're not familiar with that, I've written it out, but basically we're switching our middle finger to the 3rd string and our 1st string to the 2nd fret of the 6th. Alright, so when he goes into that rhythm, what you're doing is leading into it with that open G. So we have this. I'll do a couple of regular rhythms into it. Back into it. So it's really smooth the way he does that. Again, you've got Slash playing the other guitar part. So we'll talk about that. That's the intro. Okay, so for the intro, basically they'll go through that whole rhythm, if you will, 4 times before the verse starts. All right, and then once the verse starts, you'll do 4 more of that before going into your A, G, and F sharp over D. Okay? So that's Izzy's part. Now Slash. Slash is using a talk box on this. So Slash's part is really based around E minor pentatonic, and it'll sound like this. Alright, then he goes into his next part. So what he's doing, again, it's real laid back but very well played. We're going to hit the open A and B string. Then we come in with the 3rd fret of the 2nd string bent up, hitting the 1st string open. Then we come to the 1st string, hit the 3rd fret bent up, and then open. Then he comes back 3rd on the 2nd string bent up to open on the 1st. So listen for the pattern. Then he'll hit that open E string again, and then a B string open. Then he comes with the 2nd fret of the 3rd string with a bend, and then open 2nd string. Catches 2 without a bend, and then hits open. Then he goes from 2, slides up to 4, and will catch. Use your middle finger because you'll catch 3 on the 2nd string. Then slide back, and then pull off to open. Now he'll do a full bend and release from that 2nd fret of the 3rd string to open. Again, 2 to open, to pull off. Come to the 4th string, 2 back to the 3rd string, open. And a couple more notes. We're going to hit 2 pulled off to open on the 4th string, and then 2 on the 5th. Alright, so very slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4. Will get you into, again, the rhythm, or the verse starts, and that's when he gets his talk out. So we're going to do that up at the 5th position. All right, so it'll start out like this. So, and this is consistent throughout the whole song, this lick. So once you learn it, you'll know it for the rest of the song whenever he goes to the voice box. So what we're doing, hitting our open 6th string, and then quickly going to the 7th fret of the 4th string with a bend, and then a release. Then we go 5, 7, back to 5 twice on that 4th string. Landing on 7 on the 5th string with some vibrato. So that's kind of the first quarter of it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we'll start again with an open 6th string. Same kind of bend. 5, 7, 5 after it. Come to 5, 7 on the 5th string, and then 5, 7 on the 4th string held. Then he's going to do a little pull off from 7 after he's held it for a little bit to 5, landing on 7 on the 5th, back to 5 with some vibrato. Alright, so the second half up, or I should say, second quarter through the 3rd quarter. Sounds like a football game. All right, the next part. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we come, after I hold that 5 on the 4th string, we're We're going to come to 5 on the 5th string, hit it once, and then hit it and hammer into 7. And it opens 6, rings out. Alright? So let's do this whole lick. I know it's a lot of numbers, and if you're following my tab, you should be able to play along, but let's do the whole thing slowly and follow along. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, you're right back into it. Alright, Slash will do another lick as they continue the verse. Alright, it's a short 2 times through the Izzy lick, the E 3 times to our G, back to E, and then, what is that? What's before E? D, and then E. Okay, we'll do that twice. Slash will do this lick now. Alright, because it's shorter, he's just going to hit that third, after hitting the first 2 strings. So what he does is hit the open 2 strings, then he comes to the 2nd string at the 3rd fret, bends that up, hits the 1st string open, then he takes the 2nd string, second fret of the 3rd string bent and hits the 1st string. So we have this so far. Now we repeat the 3 to open. Then we hit open B string, 2nd string, and then our last part of that will be the 2nd fret of the 3rd string with a bend, release, and pull off to open. Alright, so all together slowly, 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, that's Slash's next piece, and then it goes into... So we know that part with the talk box, and again, Izzy's continuing on. He's going into his chorus. Alright, so then we go to the chorus. So next we'll go over chorus 1. Right after chorus 1, I'm calling it tag 1 because Slash plays another set of licks, a lot different from what he has, over Izzy's shuffle rhythm. Okay, and Izzy, this time it's not shortened, it's a full 4 times through as far as that shuffle rhythm. Alright, so let's go into the chorus and I'll show you what they're doing. Turn on my guitar. That's just before the tag, so that's kind of the full chorus. So it's basically, we're doing a D power chord, and I debated about doing it 5th versus 1st position, but I hear a lot of open strings in this. So I'm just doing a D power chord here, so I'm not playing the 2nd fret of the 1st string. And then to an E minor. Again. Add the 1st and 2nd string, kind of sounds cool after it's ringing. So after they do that twice, he's going to go into a C held for 4 counts, and then we go to a B, and he's going to just slide the B up to C, back to B, and he'll do that a total of 4 times. All right. So each one counts as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's 8 times. I'm sorry. All right. So we have this. When he comes back to the B, we'll hit it, then go to A, then walk down just on the 6th string from the 3rd fret to the 2nd. Then when we repeat it, except we'll go to an E minor. So it'll sound like this. Really, really cool. Well done. You know, those 8 little B's, C's, you can kind of hit it if it starts fading a little bit, but once you start playing with it, what's really cool is you'll feel the timing and be able to come in with the B to A and then your little walk down and do that twice. It's really well done. So that's the chorus. So again, that tag comes in after that chorus, and what Slash is doing is this. Alright, it's not, again, real difficult. It's how he times it and plays it. So what we're going to do is it's a unison bend with the 2nd fret of the 3rd string bend up, catching the 2nd string, and you don't want to take it all the way up. You want to give it some tension there. Then he'll do it again and then catch the 1st string. Then what he does is on the 2nd fret of both the 3rd and 2nd string, does a bend, release, and pull off to open. Then we do that bend on the 3rd string with the 2nd string, catching the 1st string 4 times. Now we'll take that 2nd fret of both the 3rd and 2nd string, bent, release, and pulled off to open twice. Then we'll do it individually on just the 3rd string. Then we just walk down from 2 to open on the 3rd string and 2 to open on the 4th. So slowly, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we're back into verse. So verse 2 is just like verse 1 with all the guitar parts, same licks, shuffle pattern, and then we're into chorus 2. Chorus 2, the only difference is when we come to that final E minor, it's held for more of an 8 count before we start the solo and the solo rhythm. All right, so let me take it from the B walk down and show you the solo rhythm that's coming next. We'll go over the solo last. Alright, so we have this. So that's the solo rhythm. The solo rhythm he'll do for 2 measures. I just did 1 full measure there. So basically count 4 hits on the B before you come up to a D and then an A. Alright, the next quarter measure we're going to come up from from D to E, then A. So it's still 4 counts on the B, so the D is shortened slightly. It's almost slid up, but I listen closely, it's really not. And then again, that that would repeat for another half measure. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then another full measure of that. We've got the solo rhythm. All right. After that, we've got another tag. So after the solo, we've got this tag where Slash plays this different lick. It's all in the 5th position here. It'll sound like this. So what he's doing, the open 6th string to the same note, E string, on the 7th fret of the 5th string. Then he's going to pull off from 7 to 5 on that 5th string, landing on the 6th string at 7. Come down to the 4th string with 5 with a bend and release. Then a pull off from 7 to 5 on the 5th string, landing on 7 on the 6th string. Come back to 5, 7, and then 0 on 6. 5, 7 will be on the 5th string. Back to 7 with some vibrato. So it's almost like the first half of it. So we got this. Then we repeat that first quarter part of it. Then when we do, after that 5 on the 5th string, 5th fret, we're not come up to 7 on the 5th string. We're going to come to 7 and pull off to 5 and then open. And then open 6th string. That's the end of that tag. So all together slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4. To verse 3. At the end of verse 3, what happens is when they go into the Dust and Bones kind of A, G, F sharp over D, they'll do that 3 times. All right, so it'll sound like this going into the outro. So we got we're going to hit the open G, basically, the 3rd and 4th string open before we come into the A, G, F sharp over D. That will repeat. All right, the outro is that shuffle rhythm. He's going to do that 18 times while Slash is just kind of jamming over it in E minor. All right. Then they're going to switch it up. They're going to go into this rhythm. So what they're doing is hitting down, up, down between each chord that they hit twice. So it's, and then to an E 4th root, so it'll be at the 2nd fret of the 4th string, the 4th fret of the 3rd string, and the 5th fret of the 2nd string. Again, 3 muted strikes. Then we just move that whole shape up to 7, 9, and 10. So that's A. And back. All right, that I'll do that a total of 8 times, and then he just ends on the A. Alright, so that's the whole rhythm of the song. We'll go over Slash's main solo, and then you'll have everything to play along. Okay, so Slash's first measure of the solo sound like this. So Slash's first measure of the solo sound like this. Alright, not real difficult, but again, it's his execution and playing with the song. So what we're going to do on the 3rd string, bend up the 9th fret while we hit 10 on the 2nd string. The second time we hit it, we'll release it. Then we're going to hit 7 on the 3rd and 2nd string with a slight bend. To 9 on the 4th string with a little vibrato slid off. Then we're going to slide it back into 9 on the 4th string, hitting 7 on the 3rd string before we hit 9 again on the 4th string, slid back to 7. Then we come up to 17. We're going to bend the 2nd string at 17, catching the 1st string at 17. Again, the second time we'll hold it and then hit 17 on the 2nd string with a release. Then we hit 15, slight bend on the 2nd string to 16 on the 3rd string, and then slid down. 1, 2, 3, 4. At that point, we kind of move up to the 10th position. All right, we're going to slide into the 3rd string at 11, hit 10 on the 2nd to 1st string, back to 2nd string. Then we're going to hit 10 with a bend. So at this point, you want to change your finger positions to 7. Because we'll come 7 to 10 on the 1st string after bending up 10 on the 2nd string. Alright, so here's what we have so far. Sliding into 11 with our 3rd string, catching the 10s on the 2nd, 1st, back to 2nd, then changing positions to 7 so we can hit 10 bent and then 7, 10 on the 1st string. 10 bent would be on the 2nd string. Then we come back 7 to 10 bent, catching, that's on the 2nd string, catching 7 on the 1st string before we come back to 10 and 7 on the 2nd. Then we're going to do a little 9, all right? We're going to hit 9, bent and release, and pulled off to 7, catching 9 on the 3rd string. Back to 7 on the 2nd, 7 on the 3rd. Then we hit 9, bent up on the 3rd string, to 7, 10 on the 2nd, back to 9 bent. Then we go into Chuck Berry, hitting 7 on the 2nd, to 1st, back to 2nd. Catching 10, bent up, and then 10 unbent. 7 on the 1st, 10 bent, and then 7. I'm sorry, 10 pulled off to 7. Alright, so we have this. Alright, I know it's a lot of notes. So, take what I've downloaded so far, follow me on this. Okay, I know it's a lot of notes, but take what I've written out and follow me on this. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to kind of continue on with this. We're going to go 3rd string 10 to 2nd string 7, and then 3rd string 9 to 2nd string 7. So there's a little... Then we come to the 3rd string bent and release from 9 pulled off to 7, landing on 9 on the 4th, back to 9 on the 3rd, 9 on the 4th. Alright, so far we got from the 10-7, 9-7, we have this. Then we come to 7 on the 3rd string, and then 9 on the both 3rd and 2nd string with a bend and release before we go 7 back to 9. 9 on the 4th, 9 on the 3rd, 9 on the 4th. So we have this, 7 before the 9 double bend. Come back to 9. Come back to 7, and then 9 pulled off to... Come back to 7, 9 hammered into 10, catching 7 on the 2nd. Alright, so let's take it just before the double. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so just before the double stops on the 3rd and 2nd string from 7, let's go from there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we're going to catch 10 to 9, back to 10. Then we'll hit 10, pulled off to 9, and then hammered back into 10, pulled off to 9 and 7. 9 on the 4th, 9 on the 3rd, 9 on the 4th. So we have this. And then we end up 7, come back to 6. And then we're going to pull off 7 to 6 twice. Landing on 9 on the 4th, 6 twice on the 3rd string, and then 9 pulled off to 7, landing on 9 on the 5th. Alright, so from the 2 pull-offs, then we hit 7 on the 4th, to 9, 8, 7 with a bend and release and pull off to 5. Alright, so we have this. Come back to 7 twice. And that's the solo. So, I know, that's a ton of numbers. It's just to kind of show you where he's playing this and maybe positions. Look at the notes. Download Riff Station, slow it down, or whatever you use to slow it down. It'll really help you play this. And I hope you enjoy.